So I'm going to be explaining to you the revisions to my major assignment number 2. I don't have a laptop that I can use for the camera, so I'm going to explain to you face to face. The first change I'll be making is, for starters, I have to change the date from September to October before I get that wrong. And I have to change all of my paragraphs to double spacing. Everything else was double spacing except for that. The first major change that I made was my sentence. It says, more so directed to teen and middle-aged people is that they need to forget about risking what they have to get what they want. It's a little like shaky here and there. It doesn't mean like it needs to be divided up into two different sentences. So I went ahead and cut off the first half as more so directed to teen and middle-aged people is that they need to be more defiant on what they risk and what they don't. And then I just cut off the second half of the sentence because I felt like it didn't need to be in there. My second change, in the middle of my sentence it says, risking it can help you to reach your full potential, which can be true due to the face. I think it was a typo, but I'm not totally sure, so I changed due to the face to due to the fact, so it'll make more sense on like I'm talking about my subject about risking it. On the second page, I had a couple of transition errors and word choices that need to be a little bit more professional. In the first sentence, it says, just know there's a safe route that you may have to work to find, but is the first word that I put in there for my transition word, which I was told that I need to be a little bit more professional, as I said. So I changed it to which would make more sense. It helped the sentence flow up a little bit more. So I put, just to know there's a safe route that you may have to work to find, which is definitely there somewhere. It kind of, helps it flow a little bit better. The second transition, I started the sentence off with the word which in my case I didn't think it was that bad, but I was told it was a little casual, so they kind of insisted I change it to the word this. I guess it makes it sound better because I'm explaining something. So my first sentence was, which made Stefan want to make it into the NBA to be that much more like his father. So instead, since I explained why he wanted to be like his father in the sentence before, he wanted me to change it to the word this. So it says, this made Stefan want to make it into the NBA to be that much more like his father. So it kind of flowed a little bit more, made a little bit more sense. My next one, to me, I'm just going to leave it there. The sentence starts off with the word so, and I've never had a sentence where I start with so and then don't break it off with a comma before I present my point in the sentence. So I'm just going to leave it there as so, and then my comma, and then my explanation in the sentence. The next one, I had an analogy, but I'm not totally sure how this person felt on it. They just underlined it. They did the wavy underline, which is meaning it's confusing or can be misdirecting. My sentence is, two people in love but without trust is nothing. And my analogy is, it's like a tire in a tube with no air. It will go nowhere. Which in my case, I felt like it flowed pretty well. There's not really much I can connect to, stuff going nowhere besides the first thing I thought of. So, not very many tires that are flat will go anywhere. And the last thing on my sentence is, I have a run-on sentence, and I could tell I just forgot to break it apart. So the sentence is, there's a story of the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight about a lady that had stolen her husband's credit card and bet $5,000 on Floyd Mayweather to win the fight. So I broke it off somewhere in the middle, kinda. So the first half is, there's a story of the Conor McGregor and the Floyd Mayweather fight about a lady stealing her husband's credit card. After about a day, her husband figured out that she had bet $5,000 on Floyd Mayweather to win the fight. So me breaking it up like that kind of allows me to elaborate on the sentences following to describe more about, why she did it, why trust is such a major thing in their relationship, and why the fact that he's not going to be able to trust her as much anymore because $5,000 is a lot of money. I had a couple comma errors and stuff like that, such as they also say, and then I put a comma and I put risking it in quotations and then put another comma, which I need to delete both of them because it's not grammatically correct. So I had to delete those. I had to add one apostrophe, and it says, do you think risking $5,000 on a fight without mentioning it to your spouse, and the card being your spouse is? I had to put a comma in the word spouses because it's showing ownership that it is your spouse's card and not, just your spouse's card. It has to show ownership of it being his. And the last thing that I really want to go in depth on is in my thesis, they didn't really say anything. They underlined two different people underlined the same sentence, meaning with a solid line under it, which means I need to keep it, they liked it and everything. But at the end, somebody wrote, strong opener, can the thesis be made clearer? I kind of wanted to leave it as like a cliffhanger just to build a little bit more thought before you got into the paragraphs, following it to get into the story. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. So it says, go get it. Do what you must. It's all about you. Risk any and everything for what you want. And that is where the brakes need to be applied. There's no reason to even take a chance at losing everything you have. If you risk it all and lose it all, what do you have now? So the question at the end is more or less, I'm trying to create a thought process in your head as a reader to think about what the story is going to be about, why risking it all and figuring out, what you have lost after losing it, what was worth it, why'd you do that. But it also builds a thought around my phrase when it says risking it, it's already putting you in the thought process that I'm in of why would you do that? What's the point of risking it? And it just gives you that room to grow and think of why and why not it's good to risk at certain moments. And that's all. Thank you.